Okay, I got it. Yes. Just need to fix this really quickly. We're just going to Daniel. But it only started working today for me, so everything is kind of... Yeah. You know, it's not great. But it's fine. It's fine. Let's go back to just 1 XP. Just like so. Okay, okay. It's all good. Yes. One more thing, we're gonna just be using blue and red. We are not going to have the same colors as everybody else. At the very least, the players are required to utilize these colors, like blue and yellow, but we are not as casters, so we are just going to take advantage of that. Regardless though, what do we get for game number 1? This is Outcrop, and Daniel's playing with Gerjaras, Lierey's playing with Tatters. Man, this is the first time that I ever, oh boy. Can we disable the attack thing? Yeah, this was all kind of last minute, so sorry about that. Attack notifications, none of them. Successful conversions for both players, yes. Researches, unit training, nothing. Chat, sound, and taunt, yeah, that's good. Alright. So like, I'm checking this out. The first time. The Bull Wololo skin and capture Age, basically at the same time you are seeing this as well. But it's all good. It's working out pretty well. In any case, I guess we are just going to bring the score down here really quickly. Because we're not going to have the chat on during the games today anyway. And for tomorrow I'm going to make sure to already fix the overlay, but when I went to bed yesterday, this was not working. Regardless though, stable's already on the way for Daniel. You can see over here a counter for years, the remaining time. And then for Liereyy on the other hand, he does have a stable coming up as well. He's got a double stable opening here. Playing with Tatters mean that, okay, he's going for archers from the get-go, and then he's going to make a transition into potentially camels, I would imagine, the Castle Age, and he does begin with archers over here, because after all, Tatters will get Thundering for free in the Castle Age, while on the other hand, once he gets there, once he gets to the Castle Age, he could potentially make a transition to Cavalry Archers, as they will get also free Parthian Tactics in the Imperial Age. Hey Lollipop, good morning to you too as well. Not really sure if I'm saying that right, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. Both players are going up to the Castle Age already, and this is gonna be very interesting very soon. That's one of the things they were talking about during the mainstream as well. Just how different the Empire Wars format makes the games over here, despite having many of the same players. We have seen many of the previous tournaments as well. Bull Wololo has been, by and large, the only S-tier tournament really to stick purely to the Empire Wars format. So I'm pretty curious about this. And Liereyy, well, he already unleashes the archers. He comes forward. Right now he's got 9 archers, and he's got a few more queued up, so he's not making a transition immediately to cavalry right now. So quite clearly he's just waiting for the Castle Age before making use of the stables. What I'm very curious about though is, why would he go for double stables so early when he cannot really take advantage of it? And Daniel's in the same situation as well. The difference is that Daniel actually has the stables forward, so Liereyy, or not really forward, but in front of his base, so Liereyy knows exactly what's gonna be coming up from Daniel. And the fact that we have Gerjaras over here makes me wonder, is this going to be for Shrivamsha Riders instead? This is the best 3, by the way. I noticed right now that it's kind of cropped at the very top, so I'm just going to try and fix this. And this is best of 3, so we're just going to do this. Sorry about that. Okay, okay. Bull Wololo, I guess we can just do also like this. You know what? It's not necessary because there's already the logo over there, so let me fix this, and we are just going to say open match. They won best of 3. Yeah, that's good. Siege Workshop on the way for Daniel. First thing in the Castle Age. There instead. Yeah, he's gonna start pumping the camels over here. What I was expecting, and Daniel does go for Srivansha Riders over here. No camels, no. Just a Srivansha Rider, which I'm very curious about because it's going to be really good against archer units, but it's not gonna be great against the camels, of course. And Liereyy already has the units coming out. Daniel's moving forward. Liereyy should be able to defend himself if he brings the units to the right location. However, the camels are kind of out of position over there, but Daniel does not really have too many units over here to do damage with anyway. Liereyy, if he reacted on time, he should be able to bring the camels back. Should these Srivansha Riders make it inside Lierey's base? So there we are. Wow, C-Deep, 1 year already. Thank you so much for the resub. No chat for today, C-Deep, but we are going to have chat for tomorrow. I need to fix my overlay for this. And yeah, unfortunately, the skin was only working for me basically now, just before the stream went live. I tried to make adjustments yesterday, but it was not working. Srivansha plus camels should kill archer / cavalry archer plus camels. Well, on paper, we'll see. Do not really have too many units just yet over here from Liereyy, so then you might be able to make use of his army. He does have a significant amount of units over here. It seems he's been going a little bit more heavily into cavalry compared to Liereyy, as both players got to the castle age. Daniel has been investing a little bit more consistently into cavalry, so the Srivansha might prove to be effective over there. For the time being, he's got a bail. Does not feel too confident just yet. He's got scale bar than armor, no +2/+2, but he does have bloodlines. While Liereyy, on the other hand, he does not even have +1/+1. He's only now going for bloodlines. I think Daniel might actually have missed a chance over there. I'm not really sure though. The amount of camels for the Bull player is looking mighty strong. So Daniel might not have been able to just take the engagement over there, but it certainly hurts that he wasn't able to commit to it when he was quite clearly on the lead in terms of technology. It's just the numbers are not quite as good. He doesn't now get a villager down over there. That's going to equalize things with 1-to-1 eco KD so far for both these guys. Now with the 30 TC up, Daniel's prioritizing economy a little bit more heavily compared to Liereyy, who's only now just going for the second TC. This is really interesting to see as well. Lierey's a player who's going to make extremely good use of every military unit he gets. It's not rare to see Liereyy micro even individual archers, like leftover archers, to an obnoxious degree if you are his opponent for sure. So Daniel's gotta be really careful over here. Making a play for economy means that he'll be getting ahead in worker count, and he is already 12 workers ahead. The problem though is that he will fall behind the military in Liereyy. Well, Liereyy is extremely deadly. Well, basically any amount of military in his hands. Now we'll see if he can do any damage over here. Right now Daniel's trying to defend himself, making a play for scorpions. He's got the Srivansha over here, the camels. Only 5 Srivansha left, and the scorpions going down right away. Daniel's reaction to this push will be to just send the villagers back and garrison them inside the TC. And Liereyy cannot really do too much though. Yeah, this is good. This has been a good game for Daniel so far. He's starting to get a substantial lead over here, extending his worker lead to 16 extra villagers, but that long was not the best. Was not in the best location for Daniel. He loses it for free. Liereyy just keeps on roaming around, trying to get some damage done over here, but seems unlikely he'll be able to achieve too much of anything. And Daniel's playing a great game so far. He's collecting gold from the left-hand side in addition to the right-hand side, so even if he isn't able to go out over here, actually he's not really collecting from the right-hand side because of the military from Liereyy, but he's still collecting from the left-hand side, which is great. And you know what? He's looking alright. The one thing I'm not too happy about in terms of the economy for Daniel is just the amount of idle workers he's got right now. 30 idle villagers. Now it's going down to only 15 idle villagers, but I'm not really sure where those are though. It seems like he probably ran out of resources somewhere. Yeah, he's got some villagers over there. He went for a market, but he forgot to retask the villagers, and you can see that we still have about 21 idle villagers, so I'm not really sure where the rest of them are. But this is not the best macro for, yeah, for Daniel. Now, it seems like it was some of the gold miners. Now he's sending the rest of the villagers to the rest of the gold over here in front of his base, so that's good. And the worker efficiency for Daniel is going to slowly creep back up to comparable levels compared to Liereyy for sure. We might see a big engagement over here very soon. Liereyy does still have significantly more military units compared to Daniel, but the army composition is very different. Of course, we do have the crosses over here from Liereyy and good unit control. He's going after the camels and the crossbows, doing that, pushing the camels away. Where are the Shivansha Raiders? It seems like Daniel's not focusing the archers whatsoever, and to be fair, he only had about 5 Shivansha Raiders, so he might not have been able to do it anyway. And now he gets pushed back down. Over here you can see 50 to 18 military count for Liereyy and Daniel respectively. And the pressure is starting to pile up against Daniel. This is what I was kind of nervous about. If you're rooting for Daniel, this is certainly not a side you want to see. But Liereyy is an extremely deadly player, and he will get to these positions when left uncontested, right? And even though Daniel was going for economy for the most part, and he still managed to get a close to 20 worker lead or so over here, he has not really fallen behind too much. Yeah. I'm not really sure. So far, he's gotten away with it. Sitting back and booming. But I'm not really sure if he'll just be able to do that. He is going full camera right now, which I do like. So hopefully, Lierey's military lead over here is not going to be enough to close the game right away. And we're going to have a little bit of a longer match over here. Still about 650 years left to go. Liereyy has gotten the other villagers as well. That's going to be the case for Daniel right now as well. It's been a back and forth kind of situation. Yeah, and you know what? Liereyy is in an alright spot over here. Despite being behind by 16 workers, the difference is not too much. He still retains the military lead. And you take a look at actual resources, and they are looking kind of comparable. Of course, the longer the game goes, the better it should be for Daniel. As even currently, you take a look at the gather economy time, and we have about 15 minutes of higher gather economy time for Daniel. He's going for a forward castle. I love this castle on the right hand side. The one thing that just sitting back and kind of chilling, the one thing about that is really bad for Daniel is that by playing passive over here, Liereyy can go for these things where he's going to be the one dictating the pace of the game. However, Daniel's got the castle coming up on the left hand side. So he had the resources to go for a counter castle, but he decided to go for a 4-1 on the left hand side. I do appreciate this because he has been collecting gold over here, while he's been unable to collect gold from the right hand side. So it makes sense for him to immediately defend his position on the left hand side, even if he does not have a TC over here, over his position on the right hand side where he was already under pressure. He does have an extra TC though, close to the right corner. Wow, Nana, let's go! 9 months as well. The Twitch baby's there. Great day for the subs. We had 1 year for CD. Now we have 9 months. Nana, thank you so much for the sustained support and all of you guys, the extended support. It's very much appreciated. Yeah, and it seems like Liereyy actually does have way more food compared to Daniel. And Daniel's gonna start putting some pressure over here as well. Liereyy hasn't been too active, at the very least not publicly, on Age of Empires for quite a while, so I wonder how much he practiced privately over here. I would imagine most of the AM guys were practicing like this. Privately, most likely. Kind of similar to the Legion guys, right? But anyway, there Here we go, big engagement taking place right now. It seems like Daniel's cleaning this up. Well, at the very least, he was able to clean out the first wave, but now he's gotta try and take care of the crossbows, which will be a completely different matter, of course. Camels do end up going down over there, and guess what? Liereyy will take the engagement with Totters, providing 25% higher damage when fighting from a higher elevation. Lierey's got what it takes to clean that up. Now on the right-hand side, Liereyy manages to get in with some Shuraim Chevaliers and get the rates going over here. So Lierey's starting to feel the pressure over here. It's no longer a 16 worker lead anymore. It's a 43 worker lead in favor of Daniel, as Liereyy has been losing a few villagers to the raids. Yeah, and on the right-hand side, well, PC does go down for Daniel, but this one I think it's completely unnoticed still. Yeah, Lierey's got no idea. So while Liereyy will most likely end up losing the TC over here, and he'll probably end up getting spotted over here and probably getting pushed away because he simply does not have the defenses to protect those villagers. That's not necessarily going to be the case for Daniel on the right-hand side because Liereyy simply has not scouted him yet. There's a lot of food workers for Daniel, yes, but Liereyy will be on his way to the Imperial Age very soon, and it seems like the pressure from Daniel over here has kind of tapered off. He's not really continuing to pressure so much, at the very least not in the main base of Liereyy. He does have some pressure coming up on the left-hand side, but now that Lierey's managed to get a castle up next to the stone and gold miners, he should be able to defend those villagers, and his position on the left-hand side is just going to be the center over here that could be under threat. But we'll see if Daniel actually decides to pursue that, or if he's just going to sit back. He does have armor elephants coming up. Very soon he'll be on his way to the Imperial Age as well. And Liereyy is able to keep up with military counts, just a worker count. It's not looking the best for him. He's gonna be working towards that though. With the extra TC he's going for, that's going to equalize the TC count at 4 TCs per player. And it's all looking great. Daniel's got enough resources to potentially go for another castle, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the... Yeah, we saw the blue player, or the red player actually, go for a forward castle at some point, and you know there are multiple positions he could potentially go for. On the right hand side perhaps. We'll see. Beautiful. Daniel still putting the pressure up over here. I do like to see this on the right hand side. He managed to get a few villagers while Liereyy was trying to get the TC up, and Liereyy reacts at the last second to garrison the last villager over there. But Daniel's got a castle. He's got a castle coming up right next to the TC, which will prevent Liereyy from gold collection. These are the... I guess Liereyy could potentially still go for the goal over here on the back, but for the most part, it can most likely just be denied. Good defense for Liereyy so far. Military count? Well, kind of neck and neck. Lierey's a little bit ahead. He does have a bunch of crossbows though, while Daniel does have a good amount of Shivanshas. And this time around, compared to the first half of the game, we'll see that we have enough in terms of Shivansha count from Daniel to actually engage against the crossbows from Liereyy. Especially as Lierey's crossbows do not really scale too well into the Imperial Age, and Tatars do not really get arbalisters, right? So Lierey's making up switching to heavy camels. We have Bracer coming up over here. I'm not really sure I like that too much. I guess it makes sense given the amount of archers that he had left, but it's not really going to do too much for that. For the most part, it's going to be for the castles, I think. There we go. Castle will come out for Liereyy, securing this goal for sure, but still, this one is just going to be a little bit too far. This one is going to be a little bit too inaccessible, and then on the left hand side, then he's coming in with the force. So yeah, I wasn't really sure how much Lierey's been practicing behind the scenes over here, but I'll tell you one thing, Daniel's looking in great shape, at the very least for game number 1. And And Liereyy will. This might be an off game. He might pick up later. We'll see. Not to say that he's been playing particularly bad or anything. It's just that this is not really what you're expecting to see in this particular matchup. As Liereyy, I think he is the top seed in the B group, if I'm not mistaken. I can take a look at that for sure. But anyway, let's take a look. An engagement's coming up now. Yes, sir. There we go. Who's taking this one though? It seems like it's going in favor of Daniel. Is it? Will Liereyy? I don't think he's actually utilizing the heal advantage over here too much because they're on even ground. So now Daniel's got heavy camel, and he's just gotten the Castle Age upgrade for Gujaras. That is Kshatriyas, which reduces the food cost by 35% for military units. He'll be able to spam camels for day, and he's got since he's got right now 7 stables producing camels full time, while Liereyy on the other hand, he's producing camels from only 4 stables at a time right now. Yeah, he can spam units indefinitely. Basically, absolutely. He's got the Trebuchet on the left hand side, and Liereyy is starting to crumble. The military lead he had has vanished. Daniel's got great pressure on the right hand side with Trebuchets against the castle from Liereyy. Lierey's got a Trebuchet over there, but doesn't really have the means to protect it, so he doesn't even out-garrison it. And on the left-hand side, Liereyy will most likely end up losing the castle over here, as he doesn't really have the means to keep on repairing it anymore. The villagers are getting completely surrounded, and guys, game number 1 seems like it's going definitely in favor of Mr. Daniel over here. Who's kind of trumping Liereyy for game number 1. Let me also remove this. There we go. Great. Yeah. Wow. What a great performance from Daniel. 200 population as Liereyy is dropping under 150, 140 right now. Game number 1 seems like it's pretty much over, and it's just a matter of time. Here we go. I'm pretty curious about what game number 2 is going to look like. We do have different map pools over here for the players, but keep in mind that they do share the map pool. So you can pick your home map, but you can also pick your opponent's home map. We'll take a look at civilizations and whatnot. After the game is over, we're still waiting for Liereyy to call the GG over here. The fighter does not want to go down. And Elite Trivansha just finished researching for Daniel indeed. So that'll make it significantly harder for Liereyy to keep on holding on over here. Daniel's not made a transition into Trivanshas yet though. Yeah, the game should be pretty much over, right? Yeah, it should be. There we go. The GG's coming up over there. We'll take a look at the stats over here really quickly, and then we'll just jump into game number 2. So what do we get? What do we get for game number 1? We'll see for military a better KD for Daniel. We take a look at the overall rate over here of about 11 to 10, and Daniel was looking so strong for this one. Whilst for economy, on the other hand, there is a stronger economy for Daniel as well, collecting about 18,000 extra resources. Quite a lot. Very, very close to it. It's a little bit lower than that, but very, very close to it. Let's also mark the victory over there. Daniel, there we go. 1. Liereyy, Neil. Certainly not the opening that I guess most people would have anticipated for this one, but yeah. Technology, we see also faster uptimes for Liereyy both to the castle and Imperial Ages, but the Imperial Age uptime was really interesting because he did go up when he was under pressure and seemed a little bit awkward because usually you don't want to click up while you're under pressure and you're unable to contain it. and Liereyy kind of struggled afterwards. But the villager max count 152 to 120 shows a little bit of a better situation for Mr. Daniel over there, and then it's going to be about it. So let's just go back. The release should be. Once again, we are just going to stick to blue and red. We had red for Daniel in the previous game. We are going to have red for Daniel in game number 2 as well. And yeah, this is taking place in Acclivity. We have Vietnamese versus Franks. Absolutely fantastic. And it's very interesting to see Daniel make a play with Franks over here. From the qualifiers, what I remember quite clearly was we usually used to see on this map specifically archer civilizations for the most part. We used to see Vietnamese. We saw, in addition to that, oh boy, let's see. Yeah, we saw in addition to that, Britons quite a lot, Mayans even. Not so much these ones, but we'll see how they work out. We do have scouts coming out from Daniel from the get-go. That's the unit of choice for the red player. Liereyy, on the other hand, he does have archers on the way. Well, he is playing Vietnamese, so it makes sense. Archers and spearmen are what we expect to see from Liereyy, and Daniel's just scouts. He should make a transition, or at the very least he should start adding skirmishers into the mix as well, in addition to the scouts, and that's going to be a great complementary unit. Does he have an archer range, actually? Not from what I can see right now. No. Yeah, I'm really sure why the command's not working. You can potentially do hashtag Liereyy just to make sure that it's working at all. Or hashtag Daniel, perhaps. I'm not really sure. And yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, you definitely want to come over to my Twitch channel and watch these games live, because these take place one day earlier than they go up on YouTube for Red Bull Wololo Legacy, that is. And if you're watching this on Twitch, of course, these games will be live on YouTube tomorrow. So there's a lot of work, but we'll manage to. Interesting civilizations? Yeah. It's a very peculiar matchup over here. Certainly not something that I was expecting necessarily over here. So let me check the civilization draft over here for both these players. Taking a look really quickly at what we had available from both guys. Liereyy going for Vietnamese makes sense. He also had Britons, which have also been extremely popular on this map in the past. But Daniel, if he hadn't gone for Franks, he had Hindustanis and Saracens to work with as well. Saracens would be technically a civilization with very good archery to potentially play with over here, but not utilizing it right now means that he's going to keep Saracens open for morass potentially. I'm really sure how good it's going to be over there, given that he's got Hindustanis as well. I guess we'll find out. Hindustanis will save on villager creation cost, and the Saracens, on the other hand, will be stronger for water technically because of their faster attacking galleys. So I guess that could be a thing maybe for morass for Daniel if he decides to go for Saracens over there. But yeah, making a conscious decision to go for Franks over here, certainly nothing but interesting from Daniel. He'll be on his way to the castle in a moment, as will Liereyy. And military composition right now is about the same for both players as it was at the very beginning. Daniel's just sticking to scouts, and he's not really gone for many extra scouts. He's not gone for skirmishers at all, and he's just trying to make a play for the knights instead. While Liereyy, on the other hand, well, he's stuck to archer production, and now he's got some spearmen, but that's about it. So yeah, usually you see Meso plus Ethiopians, Brits, Tatars. Yeah, absolutely. So I do find Franks over here very interesting, and Vietnamese I have seen in the past on this map as well. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to take a look at the popularity of different civilizations on these maps, on the Red Bull Wololo Legacy map pack. So for Acclivity specifically, Ethiopians, Aztecs, Britons, Tatars, and Mayans are the top 5 civilizations. Exactly what you talked about, Zaki, what you mentioned. And Franks and Vietnamese are not the most popular ones. I have seen Vietnamese. I don't recall having seen Franks too much during the qualifiers. But anyway, I guess we'll find out how effective the civilization is. You gotta keep in mind as well that today is just the opening day, and the players do not really want to show all their cards just yet. And if you have something particularly interesting planned up, or some particularly unique strategies planned up for some of the stronger, harder matchups, you're gonna want to wait to show those. You don't want to just do it from the get-go. And you know, Daniel, he managed to win game number 1 over here. Let's say that Liereyy is able to reverse sweep Daniel, and he's the one moving on to the second round. Well, Daniel still has the chance of making it into the quarterfinals because he needs to win 2 more series. Does he want to show all his cards against Liereyy in opening match? I'm not really sure. We'll see if it ends up working out. We'll see if this is actually the unique strategy from Daniel, or if he's going to bring something else into the table. Guess we are going to find out. Regardless though, as Daniel gets to the castle age, he's gonna try and get a siege workshop up over there. It does come at a cost of 1 villager. We have the second TC on the way for Daniel now that he's in the castle age. The same can be said for Liereyy with the second TC on the way as well. And Liereyy, well, he's just trying to put pressure, and Daniel's just going for knights. So the army composition is exactly what we expect to see over here. Archers for the Vietnamese player. No pikemen just yet though. Still only 3 spearmen left from the field age. And Daniel just full on knights over here. Going for a few scorpions. I do like the addition of siege for defensive purposes for the most part. That's why he had the siege workshop on the back. But that also means that his pressure forward is not really going to be quite as good. If he's just relying on the knights over here, first off, he needs to break through, and Lierey's going to react to every strike from Daniel in time. As you can see over here, the quick walls coming in behind the palisades. And Daniel won't really be able to get in using knights alone, so he needs something else. And unfortunately, with the defensive siege workshop position he's gone for over here, he cannot really go for Magnus, at the very least not in a practical manner. Down the south. They might be able to come in though. There is a little bit of a weak point here on Lierey's base, and that's just the fact that the TC keeps this side open. But the monk is there to prevent the knights from coming in, and Daniel gets denied again. So far he's been unable to do much of anything. To be fair, Lierey's not really gotten away with too much damage done with these crossbows or anything, so right now the game is pretty stable. Daniel has managed, just like in game number 1, he's managed to get ahead in worker count. While for military, on the other hand, well, Liereyy is significantly ahead. You gotta keep in mind that the military value is not quite as high for Liereyy. I mean, it's higher than Daniel right now. It's just that proportionally speaking, each crossbow is going to be a little bit less valuable than each knight for Daniel. So this can be a little bit misleading. Also, if you take an engagement with the current amount of knights, the current amount of scorpions against the current amount of crossbows, the crossbows come out on top for sure, but they will be left on a small enough number that Daniel wouldn't really have to worry about it too much. Like, Daniel could go for 1 or 2 extra scorpions and just keep on defending just fine. So Liereyy cannot really push currently. His army is just not strong enough. Daniel cannot really push, but at the very least he is getting away with a higher worker count. Liereyy is gonna work towards that right now with 30C on the way for the Bull player on the very back. He will catch up to Daniel's TC count, but that means that he'll just be playing catch up for worker count, and as long as both players are able to keep all 3 TCs working each, then Daniel's going to keep his lead consistent, or at the very least that should be the case. His macro is extremely good. How can he never got extra gold or some economy? Oh, how can he never get extra gold or some economy imbalance? Alright. That is great. That is great for him, but he does fall behind in worker count currently. We'll see if Daniel can take advantage of that. Liereyy will be the first player to go up to the Imperial Age, mind you, so this could give him the boost that he needs, especially with the amount of crosses that he's got. Once he's able to go for the Arbalester upgrade, Bracer, Chemistry as well, Liereyy will be in a much better position. As Daniel with Castle Age cannot really defend against Arbalesters, and the value of each individual unit for Liereyy goes up comparatively speaking. While Daniel's is going to remain the same. Oh, siege is coming in right now from Daniel. All right. So what is the current situation? Well, taking a look at, yeah, Daniel, he cannot really do too much over here. I guess he might be able to breach through the archer range, right? And then just come in. But then what does he do afterwards? He's got just a very small amount of knights. Here we are. Beautiful. Tamarin's coming in for Liereyy right now. Then he's got some raids coming up on the back though, when Lierey's not realizing about this. This is so unlike the blue player. Take a look at this. 5 knights have gotten 13 workers, and now Liereyy realizes, but he's dropping to 59 workers. The knights are coming in as well. We have a mangonel in the mix for Daniel. Liereyy, on the other hand, well, he's got a defensive castle coming up at the very heart of his base, right next to the TC. But you know what? Liereyy might be getting to the Imperial Age earlier. His economy is just so much smaller compared to Daniel's, and Daniel will be in the Imperial Age in about 1 minute and 50 seconds. So unless Liereyy is able to do some substantial damage, sorry, in a matter of 2 minutes or so, even less than that, it seems like Daniel should be in a good position. But here comes the substantial damage I was talking about. Villager going down, the castle, getting the knight over here for the time being, and you know what? Daniel lost the stone! He lost the stone! He actually hammered the castle over there. He built it slightly, and the castle got destroyed by Lierey's crossbows. What a great play from the Bull player. Incredible. Just wow. Just wow. That was really, really well played from Liereyy. He recognized the castle had been built, partially. So now Daniel's back to square one. Incredible. There we go. Cherry is already out from Liereyy, so his pressure is really good. 4 castles on the way now for the Bull player as well. Fantastic. Yeah, you know, Daniel needs to stall and they take one big fight. No halberdier for Liereyy. Daniel's going for, yeah, Cavalier right now. He's got Plate Bar than Armor. Plate Bar than Armor and the Cavalier upgrade will make his Knight army so much stronger. He does have 3 stables producing Knights for the time being. That's going to be Cavalier, of course, very soon. And Daniel did manage to get, or actually Liereyy did manage to get one of the stables down. So Lierey's pressure over here is achieving a little bit by decreasing the production potential for Daniel, but Daniel shouldn't really have too many issues going for extra stables in the back, and he does have extra stables on the way now on the left hand side. So with those 2, he's gonna go up to 5 stables, and this castle is extremely instrumental for Liereyy because that's going to provide defenses for the Arbalesters. However, Daniel's not thinking of going for a big engagement and trying to surround those Arbalesters. Instead, he's trying to go for the counter raid. The thing over here though is that these Cavalier are significantly better at getting damage done during these small raids compared to Lierey's units, because Lierey's units are going to be kind of limited by where the TCs are and where the castles are from Daniel. While Daniel's units, on the other hand, they do not really care about the TC or the castle quite as much, and they can still do hits damage. So he does end up getting a good amount of kills over here. If we select all the Cavalier from Daniel, we'll see that they have so far killed about 18 units. It's going to be 13 workers, while selecting Lierey's army, he's managed to get about 15 workers as well. But he's been putting pressure for longer, so Daniel's managed to get some good damage down over here, comparatively speaking as well. And now that he's got a forward castle and a mantle over here, it seems like Lierey's DC is probably going to crumble. Not quite. Lierey's making a transition to pikeman. He wants to go for halberdier. He'll need to save big for that. But yeah, now Daniel might actually be compelled to go back and take a big engagement over here, as his worker count is not much higher compared to Lierey's anymore on the overall EKD. I certainly favor Liereyy so far. There we go, more villages going down. This is great from Liereyy, and Daniel has not gone back to take an engagement with the Cavalier still. Just keeps on pushing over here. This is kind of a race to the bottom. It's just that Daniel's crumbling so much faster compared to Liereyy. Lierey's just now lost 1 DC next to the castle. And because he's already been able to go for pikemen, Daniel's not really freely able to go forward and keep the raids going anymore. At the very least, Liereyy should be able to defend himself significantly better compared to when he didn't really have any pikemen, right? Daniel still does have some good pressure coming up over here, although he's... I think he might have taken his own trebuchet down. Daniel? Man? What are you doing? Daniel? Oh, man. Oh, God. Daniel. Oh, no. He loses 2 trebuchets to his own Magnel. Good thing that this one is not affected by the... yeah, the blast radius, but this is just so bad. Oh, God. Please stop. Please stop, Daniel! What are you doing? Is he unable to stop? He's going to lose the trebuchet! What is going on here? Daniel! Man, what is this? He lost the trebuchet! Is the game bugged? Is he unable to stop the Magnel? Well, now he doesn't really have anything left anymore. This has been... yeah. Quite the game so far. Daniel's decision making seems to be kind of off. I just struggle to see why he kept the Magnel attacking over there. If it's just not game bug, maybe the hotkeys. Maybe he's got a different stop hotkey, but just ask the Magnel to move. At the very least, I have no idea. That was interesting. That was interesting for sure. He's got still Cavalier roaming around and trying to do some damage around Lierey's base, but now Lierey's got Halberdier. The potential for damage from these Cavalier has gone down exponentially, while Liereyy, on the other hand, does end up taking a big Magnel shot over here against the Arbalesters, losing a bunch of units, which shouldn't really happen. You shouldn't really lose Arbalesters to Magnels, but then he was able to get the shot. He seems to be kind of crumbling a little bit. Seems to be kind of falling apart over here. It's just not been the best transition to late game that I have seen from the red player at all. And Liereyy so far, well, he certainly has not done enough damage to straight out seal the deal. But he's certainly done significantly more with significantly less compared to Daniel. At the very least, if you are to take into account the value of the units, the amount of kills from Liereyy, it seems like Daniel struggled to get anything out of his army compared to the Bull player, that is. Yeah, this is not really going to work out for Daniel. He's got a bail from here. And the Halberdier just keep on coming out from Liereyy. There we go. The Arbalesters get squeezed up over here in a very small area. I think they will go down in the end though. Yeah, we have only 6 Arbalesters over there, so Liereyy does end up losing his first wave of Arbalesters. That is not the end of it. Not even close. Lierey's got extra units going forward all the time. It's going to be only Halberdier right now, not even going for Arbalesters anymore. Well, Daniel's just going to stick to Cavalier by the looks of it. Well, against Halberdier, the thing is, at the very least, Daniel's units will be significantly better at Raiden, but that was also the case even when Liereyy had Arbalesters, and Daniel just wasn't able to take advantage of it. Daniel's roaming around, coming forward with the Cavalier. The one thing that he does have going for him is the fact that the Cavalier will outpace the Halberdier at the very least. But that's for the most part it. There we go, beautiful push from Liereyy so far. He's getting away with it. Yeah, the Halberdier are actually doing some decent damage, and Daniel calls it! As Liereyy equalizes the set over here, it's gonna be 1-1. Let's go through the achievements one more time as well before jumping into game number 3. We'll see first off, a stronger KD for Daniel in the end. It's just that this was not enough to justify the much higher cost of his army. For the most part, Liereyy, despite the fact that he was on less than 1-to-1 KD ratio, this is overall very cost effective for him. He was making a play for Arbalester first, and then he made the transition into Halberdier, right? So every kill that he got over here was significantly more cost effective compared to Daniel's. I don't know, this just seems so weird. It seems to me like Daniel should definitely have gotten this game. It certainly seems like he kind of let go a little bit, dropped the ball over there. But yeah. About 500 extra resources for Liereyy is not too bad. We'll see for technology. Faster out time for Liereyy both to the castle and Imperial Ages. For society, we do have a higher worker max count for Liereyy. And then the total villager count over here is going to shed some light into how many villagers each player lost. It's going to be a little bit less for Liereyy. Not too much though. So let's go back. Same colors as we had before. Liereyy playing with Britons, Daniel playing with Hindustanis. And Liereyy surprising absolutely no one is starting with an archer range, while Daniel on the other hand is actually starting with an archer range himself as well. He's going for archers. This is something that Daniel can do, and Hindustanis, they are, like, basically any civilization is going to be alright in the feudal age for archers, that is. But obviously, the longer the game goes, the better Britons are going to scale with archers compared to Daniel. And you gotta keep in mind as well that even though Hindustanis are the civilization, the new civilization that's the closest to what used to be known as Indians before, they do not have the same tech tree. Indians, for instance, could make a play for archers because they did have very good cavalry archers you could potentially transition into in later stages of the game, but that's not going to be the case for Hindustanis. I mean, they do get good cavalry archers still. They do have all the upgrades except for Parthian tactics, which only counts to play in the Imperial Age. But it's still not ideal. You don't want to invest too heavily into something you're not going to be able to transition too nicely into. You're not going to be able to scale too well in the later stages of the game. You're not going to have all the upgrades for. So Daniel's most likely going to make a play for camels once he gets to the Castle Age onwards. While Liereyy, on the other hand, well, he's going for archers right now, and he's going to stick to archers throughout the game. In any case, he'll probably add a few spearmen, the same way that he did when we saw him make a play for Vietnamese, right? But anyway, we might see a villager go down over here. You do not want to see Lierey's archers coming your way. One villager down already. Make that 2 villagers down. Yes, sir. If you're playing against Liereyy in this situation, this is definitely not what you want to see. Lierey's unit control is incredible. And take a look at this. The scout does go down, but he does chunk a bunch of HP off the archers from Daniel. And if he plays his cards right, he should be able to still clean these units up, although his own army has gone down in HP quite a bit, and Daniel's got some pressure coming up on the right hand side, so Lierey's gonna have to bail. There we go, the forward tower over here will probably end up getting denied. We have more archers for Liereyy than Daniel. He's got archers to defend these villagers, so those archers are going down from the red player. Oh my lord, Lierey's doing it! He's ahead by 3 workers. He's ahead in military count as well. His unit control is really good. And it's looking great for the third one over here, for the tiebreaker. Check the unit control I was talking about earlier. This is just amazing. Liereyy is microing both the scouts and the archers. And Daniel's been taking a lot of heat over here. Might end up losing the villager. Yeah, I think he will. Won't he? Scout's going down first, and he's going to target the archers rather. Notice how Daniel called the GG and Liereyy with a reverse sweep over here for the first series does end up taking the set. What an incredible performance from the Bull player in the past 2 games. 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Damn. Should we go through any stats over here? Daniel did not even keep on trying a little bit more. Yeah, the matchup over here might have been tough, but man, this is certainly not what I was expecting to see, to speak up. In game number 2, seemed like it should have gone in favor of Daniel, but it just didn't. It just didn't. He had the potential to clean up the Arbalesters early on before they got to too many from Liereyy. Especially when Daniel had a Cavalier upgrade just coming in as well. But boy, that was a pretty quick third game over here. And I was expecting the sets for the opening day to be somewhat quick for the most part, but this was certainly not one that I was expecting to be particularly quick after we saw the incredible performance from Daniel in game number 1. But Liereyy does manage to clutch it up. Let's go.